Nowadays, when people talk about hacking, they tend to believe the fallacy about it. They tend to believe that hacking is a totally bad thing. However, what they don't know is that hacking have different types and hacking can either be a good thing or a bad thing. In today's episode, you will know what hacking really is. Good morning everyone, and this is Cyber Files.
So, what is the people's opinion about hacking? Is it good or bad? I interviewed some people to know what is their stand on hacking. Some people said that hacking is bad because it is the same as stealing of identity and stealing of money. However, in relation with the incident in Comelec, some said that it is good because it proves that the security of the Comelec is not strong enough to protect it against hacking. So, we can conclude that people's opinion is based on the situation and also the purpose of hacking.
Hacking is the process of attempting to gain or successfully gaining access to computer resources, while according to Merriam-Webster, to hack is to gain access to a computer illegally. Hacking has been a part of computing for more than a century. In fact, it was in the 1960s when Massachusetts Institute of Technology, or also known as MIT, first adopted the term hacker. There are 7 types of hacking. The first type of hacking is website hacking. It is taking control from the website owner to a person who hacks the website. An example of this is about the Comelec website hacking in the Philippines. The second type of hacking is a network hacking, which generally means gathering information about domain by using tools like Telnet and NetStats over the network. The third type of hacking is ethical hacking. It is where a person hacks to find weaknesses in a system and then usually patches them. Here, ethical hackers are identifying the vulnerabilities of a program or a site and fixing the problem itself. The fourth type of hacking is email hacking. It is where the hackers are having an illicit access to an email account and or correspondence. One of the worst email hacking that happened in the past years is the I love you virus, which is sent through emails. The fifth type of hacking is a password hacking. Password hacking is a process of recovering secret passwords from data that has been stored in a computer system or transmitted by a computer system. The sixth type of hacking is the online banking hacking, wherein hackers are accessing bank accounts without knowing the password or without the permission of the account holder. The seventh type of hacking is a computer hacking. It is when files on your computer are viewed, created, or edited without your authorization.
Naturally, one would imagine a hacker as someone who types furiously into a computer as a matrix of neon green letters drops down from a black screen. However, that may not be the case in real life, as there are said to be 7 actual types of hackers, of which I will discuss about the 3 major types. First off, the white hats. These are the good guys of the hacking world. Usually, their task is to breach security and remove viruses from networks, or to try breach security as way of testing the security strength of a certain website. Before one dares to call himself a white hat, they usually aim to have a degree in information technology or computer science first as a proof of their capabilities. Thus, we can refer to them as licensed hackers. As with the monochromic color white, their counterpart is the monotony of the color black. The black hats. These are the hackers which we see in the news. They are the ones who hack into the systems of businesses and steal money from inside. At times, we can consider their way of hacking as tried and tested, and they usually aim for weaker companies for easier work. They are the criminals of hacking. They may or may not have degrees, but their tactics comprises mostly of common hacking practices. Add black and white, and what do you get? The color gray. Gray hats are the hackers who belong within the boundaries of being black and white. They do not directly steal, but they do steal rights to websites by defacing them. They aren't necessarily Robin Hoods, but they might consider helping people out with their skills. They are actually the most common types of hackers despite the black hats taking up all the media attention.
Although hacking is mostly seen as a legal crime, there are good uses to hacking. Some of these are: hacking can allow for the revelations of bugs and weaknesses in a particular software, which could in turn be used to make the software even stronger. It can also be used to protect our private information in social networks such as Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Then it helps to improve the security of websites like government sites so other hackers can gain access so easily. There are only some advantages that can help our society. All we need to do is to use the idea of hacking with good intentions.
Hacking can be considered illegal and legal depending on how it is used. The cons hacking are more serious. Hacking used for wrong causes glitches, viruses, and more computer problems. When someone hacks into your account, they can look at all your information. This can lead to identity theft and a zombie computer. Zombie computers, which a hacker takes complete control of someone's computer without them knowing it. The hacker tends to send out spam emails, download unwanted programs, and slow down your computer. While hacking may always negatively affect someone, it may actually have a positive impact on society. The information gleaned from the hack could result in evidence of criminal activity or corporate misconduct or corruption. However, more recently, hacking hasn't been used for any good. Usually, we only hear about hacking as a bad thing, meaning it is affecting people more negatively.
We all know that there are a lot of hackers today which we don't know who they are or where they came from. Before these things, who is the first hacker to be imprisoned and what is the huge tailing in the late 90s? We'll talk about this in this documentation.
Back in 1990s, a 15-year-old computer hacker Jonathan James caused a 21-day shutdown of NASA computers that supports the International Station and invaded the Pentagon weapons computer system of 3,300 emails, stole passwords, and cruised around like an employee. James, known as Comrade on the internet, pleaded guilty to childish crime in a sealed federal case. 6 months in jail, he became the first young hacker to be imprisoned for computer crimes, the Justice Department in Washington said in a summary. He will serve 6 months in a state detention facility. Breaking into someone else's property, whether it's a robbery or a computer intrusion, is a serious crime. The prosecution shows that we take computer interruption seriously and working in our law enforcement agencies are aggressively fighting this problem. After a year, James admitted accessing 13 computers at the Marshall Space Flight Center in Huntsville for 2 days in June 1999 and downloading 1.7 million worth of NASA patented software that supports a space station environment, including temperature and humidity. NASA responded by shutting down the computers for 21 days to determine the extent of the attack, a cost of $41,000 in a contractor labor and replace equipment. The case reflects growing technical sophistications among hackers who found 10 new ways to break into computers in 1996, but now invade at a rate of 100 a month. He rates government security at a D in terms of grades. This is a great bellwether as a state of security where teenagers can jump across the computer system with little or no fear of being caught. After the issue, Jonathan James, as the first juvenile imprisoned for cybercrime in the United States, committed a suicide on the date of his sentencing on May 18, 2008, of a self-inflicted gunshot.
Now that we have an idea of the many types of hackers and the many types of hacking there are, we can now take a small insight towards cybercrime. There are many various forms of cybercrime, and also there are many laws that help enforce it. Cybercrime is an act of illegal hacking towards many individuals, netizens, and companies around the world. So, good morning, and this is Cyberfiles. Now, before we jump into cyber hacking, or what we would call cybercrime, we first need an idea of the many layers of the internet. We first have the surface web, or the public internet. Then we have the deep web, and then we go to the dark web. So in this following documentary, we'll be able to see the many types of the layers of the internet and get a basic idea on what each one is composed of.
Okay, so even though some of us were a little slow when it came to understanding the World Wide Web,
Allison, can you explain what internet is?
it's hard to imagine life without it today. And most of us probably spend way too much time online. But when you use a browser like Firefox, Safari, or Google Chrome, even though you can find a lot, you're only scratching the surface of what's out there in the vast world of cyberspace. And what lies beneath can be a lot less friendly than Facebook.
The cyber underground or dark web.
The dark web. It's the part of the internet where you can get anything from guns to drugs.
ISIS likes to recruit and communicate through all areas of the web, including what's known as the dark web.
Let's take a step back. Imagine an ocean. The surface web is all the stuff you can find with a simple search, but the rest is a sea of information known as the deep web. It's not that easy to pull up stuff that's on the deep web. That's because most of these sites have privacy or security measures, or are storing too much material to be searchable. But deeper into that deep web, there's a corner where all data is encrypted and users are virtually anonymous. And that's called the dark web. Wait a second. That's better. So how does it work? The dark web, or the dark net as it's sometimes called, isn't just for hackers. Anyone can use it as long as he or she has the right software to open the door to these hidden networks. The most well-known is Tor, or the Onion Router. Back in 1995, the U.S. Naval Research Lab created it as a way for the government and other people to securely communicate online because it shields the message and the messenger from being traced. In 2003, Tor was released to the public, and the dark web spun out on its own. Soon it got a reputation for being a place for illegal activities like child pornography, drug trafficking, hackers for hire, and terrorist recruitment. The encryption tech it uses to mask identities makes it harder for the government to track bad guys, but not impossible.
They think if they go to the dark web, the hidden layers, so-called, of the internet, that they can hide from us. They're kidding themselves because of the effort that's been put in by all of us in the government over the last 5 years.
In 2013, undercover agents caught Ross Ulbricht. He was the creator of the notorious Silk Road, a sort of digital black market for all kinds of bad things, using Bitcoin as the currency. He was convicted on 7 counts, including narcotics trafficking and money laundering, and sentenced to life in prison 2 years later. But others believe there's a lighter side to the dark web, and it can be a place for positive change. Proponents say it's essential for dissidents and whistleblowers who live in repressive countries. For example, it was a big factor during the Arab Spring, and journalists often use it to protect their sources.
Oh,
That little mark with the A and then the ring around it?
At?
See, that's what I said. Kay said she thought it was about.
Yeah. Oh.
But I'd never heard it.
Around
I'd never heard it said. I'd always seen the mark.
Yep, we've come a long way since the birth of the internet. And even if we could get to the bottom of the dark web, it's likely that an even darker layer would develop beneath it. So whether you're using it for good, for evil, or not going there at all, when it comes to the dark web, at least you can say, now I get it.
Crime is a common word that we always heard in this globalization era. Crime refers to any violation of law or the commission of an act forbidden by law. Cybercrime is a new type of crime that occurs in the science and technology worlds. There are a lot of definitions for cybercrime, but according to Wikipedia, cybercrime, or also known as computer crime, refers to any crime that involves a computer, and cybercrime is defined as crimes committed on the internet using computer as either a tool or a targeted victim. Cybercrimes are everywhere, can happen to anyone at any time. Some examples of cybercrime are identity theft, storing of illegal information, cybersex, computer virus. An issue with regards to cybercrime is under the controversial Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012, where a woman has been indicted for allegedly transferring thousands of dollars to her bank account using fraudulent computer data. As per Justice Department records, Carla Martinez Ignacio, the first person to be charged under cybercrime law, may face up to 6 years in jail if she is found guilty of the act.
Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012 or Republic Act Number 10175 is an act defining cybercrime, providing for the prevention, investigation, suppression, and the imposition of penalties. It is also the first law in the Philippines which specifically criminalizes computer crimes. The following senators voted in its favor were Pia Cayetano, Jose Estrada, Francis Escudero, Gregorio Inasan, Panfilo Lacson, Manuel Lapid, Loren Legarda, Ferdinand Marcos Jr., Aquilino Pimentel III, Ralph Recto, Ramon Revilla Jr., Vicente Soto III, and Manuel Villar. The cybercrime offenses included in the bill are cybersquatting, cybersex, child pornography, identity theft, illegal access to data, and libel. Those who will be caught doing these crimes must pay a fine of 50,000 pesos to 10 million pesos or 8 years of imprisonment. 2009, Macnal Gracilla, Paul Michael Kwan, Francisco Manalac, and Regina Balura was arrested because they were allegedly behind attacks on the US telecommunication firm AT&T. That resulted in $2 million in losses to the company. Also, Alvin Araneta was arrested on February 5, 2014 because of unauthorized online sale and distribution of Hack Globe WiMAX modem through Facebook. The most recent were Paul Biteng and Jonel D. Assis. They were arrested by NBI because of hacking the Comelec website, but they claimed that they only knew each other on social media, not in person.